Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. The buzz in Green Bay is growing louder every week, and it's not just about the Packers' return to playoff contention. It's about the undeniable connection between quarterback Jordan Love and rookie wide receiver Matthew Golden. The chemistry between these two is becoming the talk of the NFL. And what's most exciting is that it feels like we're only scratching the surface of what this partnership could become. When the Packers used their first-round pick last spring to bring Golden out of Texas, fans were intrigued but cautious. After all, Green Bay already had a handful of young, promising receivers. But what Golden has shown in just a few short weeks is that he's not here to blend in. He's here to redefine what this offense can look like under Matt LaFleur and to help Jordan Love elevate from promising to elite. From the very beginning, the Packers coaching staff made it clear that Golden wasn't just another deep threat. They drafted him for his ability to stretch defenses horizontally and vertically, to make tough catches in traffic, and to give Love a safety valve who could also double as a home run hitter. But the way he's integrated into the offense so seamlessly has surprised even the most optimistic analysts. Through the early part of the season, his route running looked polished, but it was his timing with Love that stood out most. You can see it in the way they read coverages the same way, the way Love trusts him on back-shoulder throws, and the way Golden adjusts mid-route to bail out his quarterback when a play starts to break down. It's a chemistry that usually takes years to develop, but somehow, these two have found it in a matter of months. The recent game against the Cincinnati Bengals was the clearest indication yet that Golden is becoming a focal point of the offense. Pro Football Focus graded him as the Packers' top performer that day, and the numbers back up the eye test. 3 receptions for 86 yards, each one more impactful than the last. What those stats don't show, however, is how those catches changed the game's rhythm. Golden's first big grab came on a crucial 3rd and long where Love threaded the needle between 2 defenders, and Golden used his strength to hang on through contact. Later, he turned a simple slant into a 40-yard gain, shaking off a tackle and bursting upfield with that trademark acceleration that made scouts drool back at Texas. Plays like that don't just move the chains, they inject life into the entire offense, sending a jolt through the sideline and forcing defensive coordinators to panic. And that's exactly what Matt LaFleur envisioned when he fought to draft Golden. The Packers head coach has always valued versatility and explosiveness in his receivers, but what he's getting in Golden is something more dynamic. The rookie's combination of speed and balance has opened up parts of the playbook that had been gathering dust since the days of Davante Adams. Suddenly, those deep play-action shots feel alive again. Those crossing routes have real bite, and opposing defenses can't just load up the box to stop the run. In short, Golden is changing the geometry of the field, and that's the kind of impact you expect from a franchise player, not just a promising rookie. Jordan Love, for his part, seems to be feeding off Golden's energy. After a few uneven starts early in the season, Love has found his rhythm, and the numbers prove it. According to advanced metrics, his average depth of target sits at 9.5 yards, which tells you he's not afraid to push the ball downfield. More impressively, his completion percentage sits at 73.1%, a career best, showing that he's not just throwing deep for the sake of it. He's doing it efficiently. When you combine that with an EPA per dropback of plus 0.27, ranking him among the top 6 quarterbacks in the league, it's clear that Love's decision-making is evolving in real time. Having Golden on the field gives him the confidence to make those throws, to take those chances, knowing that even a slightly off-target pass might still end up in his receiver's hands. What makes their partnership even more fascinating is how much it reflects the growth of this Packers offense as a whole. This is no longer the Aaron Rodgers era, where one man's brilliance could carry the team. This version of Green Bay is built on balance, on trust, on the collective. And yet, in that system, individual stars can still shine, especially when their skill sets elevate those around them. Golden doesn't need 15 targets to make his presence felt. Sometimes, just 1 or 2 touches are enough to flip the field. Defenses are starting to notice. Safeties have begun shading toward his side more frequently. Linebackers are hesitating before biting on play action, and that's opening up space for other weapons like Jayden Reed, Christian Watson, and tight end Luke Musgrave. It's the ripple effect of having a true game breaker, and it's making the Packers' offense unpredictable again. You can see it in Love's body language, too. He's playing looser, more decisive, with a swagger that comes from knowing he has a guy who can turn a 10-yard gain into a 50-yard touchdown in the blink of an eye. In the post-game pressers, he doesn't hide his admiration for Golden. He talks about how the rookie sees the field like a vet and never takes a play off. It's that trust that's allowing the Packers to expand their offensive concepts. More motion, more layered route combinations, more freedom for Love to audible at the line. And in all of that, Golden has become a linchpin, someone who changes how every defense prepares for Green Bay. Of course, as every rookie does, Golden is still learning. There have been drops, missed blocks, a couple of routes that didn't end where Love expected. But what's impressed coaches most is his response to mistakes. He's not sulking on the sidelines or shying away from the ball. He's attacking every rep in practice with the kind of urgency that reminds teammates of a young Randall Cobb, but with more raw athleticism. It's that work ethic that's earning him respect not just in the receiver room, but across the locker room. Veterans like Aaron Jones and David Bakhtiari have praised his humility and focus, saying he carries himself like someone who's been in the league for years. What's scary, especially for opposing defenses, is that this feels like just the beginning. The chemistry between Love and Golden isn't peaking, it's developing. They're still learning each other's timing, still building that unspoken connection that elite QB receiver duos share. You can already see flashes of it. The subtle glance at the line of scrimmage, the shoulder fake before the snap, the way Golden adjusts his route depth based on Love's pocket movement. Those are the kinds of nuances that separate good offenses from great ones. And with LaFleur orchestrating it all, there's every reason to believe this connection could define the next era of Packers football. Fans are beginning to sense it, too. Lambeau Field has a different kind of electricity when Golden lines up wide. Every time he takes off on a go route, you can hear the crowd hold its breath, waiting for the deep ball to drop into his hands. It's the same anticipation Green Bay used to feel when Rodgers would wind up for Jordy Nelson or when Brett Favre would take that fearless shot downfield to Sterling Sharp. The names have changed, but the feeling is the same. Hope, excitement, and the sense that anything could happen on any play. As the season rolls on, it's becoming clearer that Matthew Golden isn't just another rookie finding his footing. He's a difference maker. He's giving Jordan Love the kind of dynamic, explosive weapon that every young quarterback dreams of having. Together, they're reshaping how the Packers attack defenses, and they're doing it with a confidence that's contagious. The offense feels faster, sharper, more dangerous. And while the numbers and analytics tell one story, the eye test tells an even louder one. This connection is real, it's growing, and it might just be the foundation for something special in Green Bay for years to come. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. The Green Bay Packers, a franchise steeped in history and tradition, might be on the brink of one of the most shocking quarterback shakeups we've seen in years. Rumors have been swirling around the league, whispers in locker rooms and front offices, that Jordan Love, the young quarterback many pegged as the future face of the Packers, could be leaving Green Bay at the end of this season. It's the kind of news that sends shockwaves not just through Wisconsin, but across the NFL landscape because Love, drafted in the first round a few years back, has always carried that aura of potential, the kind that makes teams both cautious and ambitious. To hear that he might depart from the Packers, a team known for holding on to quarterbacks for the long haul, feels like a seismic shift in philosophy, almost unthinkable just a few months ago. Sources close to the organization hint at tension between Love and the coaching staff. It's not a clash in the classic, overt sense, no public disputes or dramatic press conferences, but more a subtle misalignment in vision. Some insiders suggest that while Love's talent is undeniable, his arm strength, mobility, and poise in the pocket, it's the nuances of his game, the reads, and the decision-making under pressure that might have led to a quiet erosion of trust. Fans have been patient, waiting for him to take the reins fully after the Aaron Rodgers era, but the pressure mounts when potential clashes with play-calling philosophies, offensive schemes, and locker room dynamics start to simmer. And while the Packers have always been a team that values continuity, whispers indicate that management may be ready to explore options that could alter the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. The timing of this potential exit is equally fascinating. Jordan Love is still young, his best years ahead of him, Yet the NFL is brutal when it comes to patience and development. Speculation suggests that a combination of draft positioning, team ambitions, and perhaps even contract considerations could be influencing this move. Some say the Packers may see a golden opportunity to trade Love for significant draft capital, a move that would allow them to retool around immediate needs while mitigating long-term risk. Others speculate that Love himself might be eyeing a fresh start, a team where he can step into a starting role without the shadow of comparisons to Aaron Rodgers looming over every decision. The narrative is tantalizing because it's not just about a player leaving. It's about what it symbolizes, a transition from one era to another, a franchise grappling with identity, expectations, and the merciless calculus of winning in the NFL. What makes this story even juicier is the ripple effect it could have on the league. Teams are already rumored to be circling, thinking about how they could integrate a young quarterback with Love's skill set. Some are believed to be envisioning trades, others considering free agency maneuvers, and a few high-profile organizations might see Love as the missing piece to finally vault them into contention. The Packers, by nature, are a measured, deliberate organization, but this kind of move would require a boldness that borders on audacity. It raises questions about the front office's strategy, their willingness to gamble on the future, and their confidence in the roster that remains around Love. And then there's the coaching angle. How much of this decision is influenced by Matt LaFleur and his vision for the offense? Rumor has it that discussions behind closed doors have been intense, as the staff weighs Love's growth curve against the immediate need to remain competitive in a brutal NFC North. Fans are, unsurprisingly, divided. Some see this potential departure as a betrayal of the draft process, a signal that the Packers are abandoning a young talent before he's fully matured. Others, however, see it as pragmatic, an acknowledgement that the league doesn't wait, and that maximizing the return on a first-round quarterback, even one with immense promise, might just be smart football. Social media is ablaze with speculation, mock trades, and hot takes, with every analyst adding fuel to the fire. Podcasts are already breaking down possible landing spots for Love, evaluating schemes, offensive lines, and coaching styles that could allow him to flourish. Meanwhile, the locker room itself is rumored to be experiencing a subtle tension, the kind that doesn't explode publicly but is palpable behind the scenes. Players who once rallied around the young quarterback are now quietly bracing for a seismic shift that could redefine their own roles and the team's chemistry. Of course, nothing is official yet, and the beauty of NFL rumors is that they often live in a gray area between possibility and inevitability. Some insiders caution that reports of Love leaving might be strategic, a way to gauge interest from other teams or to position the Packers for maximum leverage in trade negotiations. Others are convinced that the writing is on the wall, pointing to subtle cues. The way contract discussions have stalled, the careful management of media access, and the allocation of reps in practice. Even the timing of the rumor itself seems almost calculated, released at a moment when speculation can build and fan pressure mounts, without an official confirmation to anchor the narrative. It's the perfect storm for intrigue, drama, and speculation, the kind of story that keeps fans hooked not because it's confirmed, but because the what-ifs are deliciously endless. Beyond the immediate implications for the Packers, Jordan Love's rumored departure also sparks broader questions about quarterback development in the NFL. How patient should teams be with raw talent? How do you balance immediate competitiveness with long-term potential? Green Bay has always walked that line carefully, and the thought of them stepping away from Love at this stage sends ripples across the league, forcing other teams to consider how they approach their own young quarterbacks. Is this a cautionary tale, a warning that talent alone is never enough? Or is it an example of strategic boldness, a willingness to pivot decisively when the future seems uncertain? Analysts and fans alike are scrambling to interpret the signals, parsing every snippet of information, every quote from coaches, every shift in practice routines, as if each could be the missing piece of a complex puzzle. And so, as the season rolls toward its conclusion, all eyes are on Green Bay. Will Jordan Love indeed be wearing a different uniform next year? Will the Packers gamble on draft capital and short-term strategy, or will they recommit to nurturing a quarterback who has been groomed for this very moment? The tension is almost cinematic, a story that transcends stats and scores, digging into the psychology of teams, the pressures on young athletes, and the intricate dance of rumors, strategy, and anticipation that makes the NFL more than just a game. Every practice, every snap, every sideline gesture is now magnified, because in the rumor mill, nothing is trivial. Fans will watch, analysts will speculate, and the league will buzz with the potential domino effect that Jordan Love's departure could trigger, a single move capable of reshaping careers, team fortunes, and the entire narrative of what's next in Green Bay. For now, though, all we have are whispers, murmurs that grow louder with every passing week. The Packers, long a symbol of stability in a league that thrives on change, might be on the verge of the boldest gamble of the decade. Jordan Love's future, once so clearly tethered to Green Bay, now hangs in the balance, tantalizing, uncertain, and electric with possibility. It's the kind of story that makes fans debate endlessly, that fuels late-night discussions on sports shows, and that reminds everyone why we watch the NFL, not just for the plays on the field, but for the drama, the intrigue, and the human stories that unfold in every city, every locker room, and every corner of the league. In the end, whether Love stays or goes, this rumor has already reshaped the conversation, making the final weeks of the season feel like a prelude to a seismic shift, one that could define Green Bay's next chapter in ways no one could have fully anticipated. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.